Chapter 1. The Legend of Bayard, the Knight Without Fear and Without Reproach. The tales of knights from medieval times often sparkle with deeds of valor, but not all who bore the title were noble of heart or pure of spirit. Many knights were known for cruelty, for ruthless vengeance against enemies, and for greed beyond measure. Yet among these warriors of iron and steel, one figure stands apart, shining with an almost otherworldly light: Pierre du Terrail, Chevalier de Bayard, forever remembered as the Knight Without Fear and Without Reproach. His name became synonymous with bravery and honor, not just because he was fearless on the battlefield, but because his courage was matched by a steadfast adherence to the code of chivalry and an unwavering respect for justice and mercy. Bayard's story is one of a true idealist, a knight who embodied the highest ideals of knighthood, who sought glory not for personal gain but to uphold what was right and noble in a time of war and chaos. Born into a noble French family in the late 15th century, Bayard grew up in a world torn by the Italian Wars, a series of brutal conflicts between France, Spain, and other powers vying for control of the rich and strategic Italian peninsula. These wars saw shifting alliances, mercenary bands, and countless sieges and battles marked by both heroic feats and horrendous cruelty. In this violent world, Bayard's character shone like a beacon. While many knights were driven by greed or thirst for revenge, Bayard fought with honor and compassion, winning the admiration of friends and foes alike. He was famed not only for his skill with the sword and lance but for his kindness toward the weak and his fairness toward prisoners of war. His contemporaries said he never raised a hand in anger except in just cause and never sullied his reputation with dishonorable acts. Chapter 2. The Capture of Brescia and Bayard's Wounds. One of the defining moments of Bayard's life came during the capture of Brescia, a wealthy and strategically vital city in northern Italy. The French army had laid siege to Brescia, and after fierce fighting, the town fell into their hands. According to the brutal rules of war at that time, victorious troops were often permitted to pillage captured cities as a form of spoils, looting homes, seizing valuables, and sometimes worse. It was a time when the cries of the innocent were drowned beneath the clamor of soldiers taking their fill. Bayard took part in the assault but refused to take part in the horrors that followed the conquest. His heart grieved for the suffering of civilians caught in the tide of war. During the fierce storming of the city walls, Bayard was severely wounded, struck down in the midst of the fighting. Bloodied and faint, he believed his end had come and spoke to a fellow captain: "Comrade, lead your men onward, for the town is ours. Spare the women and children. Leave me here, for I am a dead man within the hour." Yet fate had other plans. Two of his loyal archers carried him away from the battlefield, through the chaos of soldiers still pillaging, and brought him to a large, well-furnished house belonging to a wealthy citizen who had fled in terror. Left behind were the man's wife and two daughters, hiding amid the hay in the granary, trembling with fear. The archers knocked loudly on the door, calling out, "Open for the good knight Bayard, who is wounded and needs shelter." The lady, fearful of treachery, hesitated, but when she saw the noble knight carried inside, she opened wide her door. Bayard, ever courteous even in pain, said gently, "Fear not me or these men. They shall guard your home and admit no one but my own. Should you lose anything in this storm, I promise to repay you fully." With those words, he gave orders that no harm befall the household. He was carried to a splendid chamber with silk curtains and a canopied bed, where the lady wept and begged mercy, terrified for her life and her daughters. Bayard, weak from blood loss, assured her that as long as he lived, no harm would come to them. He urged her to send for a surgeon to tend his wounds. Under guard, she found a skilled doctor, who saved the knight's life. Soon Bayard was recovering, his strength slowly returning, while his household remained safe under his protection. Chapter 3. A Knight's Mercy in a Time of War. As Brescia settled under French control, soldiers took over the houses of citizens, making the streets dangerous to anyone who dared to walk unarmed. Yet Bayard's concern remained not only for himself but for those innocent people trapped in the chaos. He noticed his hostess was troubled and asked about her husband. She told him that her husband had fled to a nearby monastery, seeking refuge. Bayard promptly sent his steward and archers to bring the man safely home. "I cannot call you brave," Bayard said kindly, "for you chose safety over battle, but your wife's kindness saved my life. You shall suffer no harm here, either in person or in estate." The family reunited, grateful beyond words, while Bayard regained enough strength to walk about his chamber. His restless spirit chafed at the enforced idleness. When news came of a great battle brewing between French and Spanish forces, Bayard summoned his surgeon. "Is it safe for me to join the fight? I am healed enough, or nearly so. This idleness does me more harm than any wound." The surgeon warned that the wounds were not fully healed, but with care and a few more dressings, Bayard could soon march. Hearing this, the knight's spirits soared. He ordered his armor polished, his horse readied, and his men prepared to follow him once more into battle. His strength returned with each passing hour, fueled by the urgency of action. The knight's hosts feared the demands he might make before leaving. Soldiers were known to exact payment or ransoms from those under their control, and the family feared losing everything. Yet on the day of departure, the lady approached Bayard with a small steel box filled with gold coins, trembling but determined to express her gratitude. "My lord, God's grace guided you here at Bresch's Fall. We owe our lives and all we hold dear to your kindness. Though others have suffered loss and insult, we have been spared. We are your prisoners and must obey, yet I beg your mercy and offer this gift." Bayard laughed, a rich, genuine sound that echoed through the room. "Madam, what use have I for these coins? No sum can repay the kindness and care you and your daughters have shown me. I am a gentleman and a knight. My honor is my wealth, and I value people more than gold." The lady was astonished. She had never known a knight so generous, so unconcerned with riches. She pleaded for him to accept the gift, and at last, Bayard agreed, only to keep it as a remembrance of their kindness. Chapter 4. The Knight's Farewell and Lasting Legacy. As Bayard mounted his steed, he turned one last time to see the girls waving at him, their faces bright with hope. He smiled, feeling the warmth of their gratitude envelop him like a cloak. Riding through the town, he recalled their laughter and the moments they shared, a reminder of the resolve he carried to uphold justice and compassion. Each stride of his horse echoed his promise to himself, that he would continue to fight for those who could not fight for themselves, ensuring that his legacy would be one of unwavering courage and benevolence. These thoughts fueled his journey ahead, propelling him toward the next adventure with the spirit of the sisters and the girls behind him. With a resolute heart, Bayard journeyed onward, the landscape unfolding as a vibrant tapestry of fertile fields and sun-dappled forests. Along the way, he encountered villagers struggling to rebuild their lives, their faces etched with despair, yet flickering with the hope he sought to inspire. Stopping to listen to their tales of loss, he offered words of solace and encouragement, reminding them that resilience was born from the ashes of adversity. Each story rekindled his determination, and as he rode further, Bayard knew that his mission was not merely about battle. It was about uplifting spirits and nurturing the bonds of community. Through every interaction, he forged connections that transcended the simple act of giving, planting seeds of courage in hearts that felt weary. Bayard understood that true knighthood was measured not only by valor and arms but by the strength found in compassion and solidarity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of gold and rose, he felt a profound sense of purpose guiding him toward his destiny. As night fell, Bayard sought refuge in a humble inn, where the flickering candlelight cast shadows on the walls. The warmth of the hearth welcomed him, and he found comfort in the shared stories of those around him, each tale weaving a rich tapestry of resilience and hope. In the quiet of the inn, Bayard reflected on the journey of his life, each choice shaping the man he had become. He knew that true strength lay not in the sword he wielded but in the kindness he freely offered, forever earning the title of the knight without fear and without reproach. Thanks everyone for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel and see you soon.